Welcome to episode 93 of DuckCast. Did you like that last episode?
I had
That
fun.
was great.
I had a plan for opening this episode where I
Yeah,
was going to take that same birthday song that you played for me
yeah, the
earlier in the
belated
season,
birthday song. Yeah,
and then I remembered that you keep opening the episode, so I wouldn't be able to.
you could have interrupted me.
Well, happy birthday, Zach.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had something you wanted to talk about that last episode.
What last episode?
The
Oh,
Scribble episode.
yeah. So, I would have uploaded the video way earlier than I did, but that problem I said a couple times that I've had with longer episodes where the halfway through the bit rate just goes crazy and it's all blurry and pixelated and all that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I try different types of renders and everything and it doesn't work. At some point I downloaded this free online program, a video editor called One Shot, and it had some good render settings, HD for YouTube, all this stuff. Tried it out, just one render, and that was the render that went up. I just had to render out the first part and the second part in Sony Vegas separately, and then put them together in One Shot, and then that was it. But yeah,
Excuse me.
it's just very weird. But yeah, One Shot saved the episode from being shit. It looked really bad so many times. So good.
I was getting impatient for that episode, but respect. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. How do you think it went?
I really loved it. I want to do more of it. I think it was a good time.
I'm almost open to do another season 5 episode of that.
Yeah.
Only sad thing about it is if we do it again, probably different guests, just because we want other people to be included. Mm-hmm. But it's just
it would be hilarious though. Getting the winner, or maybe even the first and the second place winner, to come back and see if they can redeem themselves and continue their streak. And Matt just being not being first place, but being angry about the fact that he should have been and wanting to try to come back.
He tweeted that too. It wasn't just a comment. He tweeted it too.
Yeah. Just imagine him trying to come back and really going for it. Oh yeah, I'm going to try for first place again.
I think that
it'll be a funny bit.
Technically, Matt did win, I would say.
Nah,
but it is very funny to deny him
clearly won. I mean, that's how it was. It's totally not rigged.
It is very funny to deny him that victory. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought the first 10 minutes when I was watching it back were a little rough because we weren't talking that much. It was mainly just silent drone. But after that, it really picked up and became an entertaining thing to listen to. I love how some of the drones.
I kind of like the beginning, just starting off introducing everyone. It's okay, Schmiegelbop, your host, and then Doug Walker. Going from that to Doug Walker is okay, you kind of get the tone for this video. It's very weird.
I noticed in the first, I love the opening, but it's kind of excluding the opening, the first 10-20 minutes, it's just I don't know, it took us a while to get really into it because a lot of us were so focused.
You were still learning on playing the game, but
yeah, for sure. I think what a lot of the comedy came from though, is just reading the chat, the chat in the game, and that's where a lot of us were focusing our jokes and
that's with most people that play the game. When they get a group of people in the Discord calling to play the game, that's always the thing in the chat, saying the weirdest shit.
Yeah, some of them got read out, which was good. Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing that one though. That was definitely something that stands out to me as an episode. And I'd be open to do one again this season, or at least the very beginning of the next season. I think we should do. We said we were going to do another Hunger Games episode.
For April Fools, right?
Was that an April Fools video?
Yeah.
God, it's almost been a year. I don't want to do it for April Fools this year. Just
you
because
said you were going to do it for next year, which is this year.
Maybe we should just throw it in. Maybe we should just quickly throw it in to episode 100. That could be a segment. We get a guest on.
That's going to be a long segment.
Because Chris was the one who won the Hunger Games.
Yeah. I mean, because of One Shot, I don't really think we have to worry anymore about the bit rate going bad halfway through.
Mm-hmm. Episode 100 is going to be intimidating, but I do think if worst comes to worst, you can send me the parts and I'll edit them together. But we'll figure it out. Episode 100 is going to be interesting because I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, I love the idea of doing segments, and then there's another part of me is that like, it's not going to be like a normal podcast though. It's not like going to be the 100th time that we just turn the webcams on and record an episode. So there's like a bit of a
like get quickly-ish enough through each segment so then we're not wasting too much time. That's the most stressful thing about it.
If you want to drop the idea of doing segments, I'm open to that. Like I wanted to do it because that's what we did for 20.
But like I just remember that being very hectic. It doesn't give enough breathing room for guests to just, it with most guests, whether or not they're on for the first time or consecutive times or whatever, it takes them a while into the episode that they're in to get really comfortable. And so I feel like with this sort of format, it's not going to be any better. It's definitely encouraging to, all right, introduce and the goodbye at the end, and the middle is just very rushed kind of thing. Like, hey, how can we contribute as guests? But we're still also the host, so we got to talk too. And it's just, I don't know.
How would we go about doing a guest for episode 100 though? Would we just make it 100 guest lists, or?
I don't know.
It's weird. We got to figure it out, but I guess we'll talk about it more off screen. Let's share something that good old Matt Presents made for us. It's in the chat right now. Open it up. Let's go through it a little bit. Talk about. We have me, and Zach, and two other DuckCast guests from last episode, Matt and Mitzi. We've been working on a project together?
Yep.
Improvised story in a Discord chat. Jeremy was there too. Jeremy didn't really write, but he was definitely amongst the crowd chatting with us.
He wrote a little bit, I think.
I don't think he did. I think he started to and then said, I can't think of anything.
So
Which, again, that's fine.
So this image for this thing in our Discord thing, you won't really see the episodes anytime soon, but someday we are planning on reading all the episodes in an episode, or maybe a few episodes in an episode or something. Kind of like what we did with that one thing. I think it was called Mackle and Zach, or Mackle and Zach.
Mackle and Smorty.
Mackle and Zach is the current thing. Yep. So
Mackle and Smorty was a really bad series too, but it was just me writing a bunch of stuff down in a notepad. This is a different thing.
Yeah, now we actually have official artwork. We have a budget.
Yeah, we can do some drawings for the episode, and then like it could be like a non-webcam episode, and we just do the voices. We do a little introduction, and then we just that could be a great DuckCast season 6 episode.
How long am I gonna be showing this image, by the way?
Well, I just kind of wanted to go through the characters quickly, just to give a preview. And there's one character that me and Zach can't identify. Matt made this. I don't know who it's supposed to be.
I think it's Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, but that's my own interpretation.
It doesn't look like Wallace from Wallace and Gromit.
To each their own, bitch.
Well, the character up there is obviously Satan.
Yeah.
With him. Satan is a big character, kind of. Maybe that's supposed to be God. You kind of said that, and maybe it is.
Yeah, I don't remember reading Satan in the script.
Me neither.
So maybe it is God. Maybe that's Matt's interpretation of God.
We got Brian Griffin.
Yeah, Ghost Doug. Brian Griffin.
Well, actually, I think now that I look at it, it kind of just looks like his tail and 2 legs.
Yeah, he should have made him a ghost on the bottom half. That's not canon. This with the legs and the tail, that's not canon.
I mean, Brian is alive, I think, for a brief amount of time.
It's not official.
Brian is alive at the very beginning.
I think we're spoiling it now, actually. We're getting too ahead of ourselves.
A minor spoiler, okay? We won't spoil anything else, but I think these other characters are okay.
God,
we got Mark.
Fucking guys on DuckCast, am I right? Fucking hell. I was really looking forward to the series.
The show has 3 Dougs in it. We have Doug, Funny, and the 3 Dougs, it's actually very clever. I'm noticing right now are all lined up on the same side.
Yeah, so Doug from the show Doug. There's Nostalgia Critic, who's not technically a Doug, but also technically a Doug. And then underneath him is Doug Walker.
He's what Doug Walker becomes, and his name is still Doug, even on the Nostalgia Critic episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the Nostalgia Critic episodes, he hates the theme song for Doug because he got bullied because of the show Doug. Okay? Yeah. And then finally we have Rosie, who... That's an acceptable age for her to look. She Caillou's supposed to be 12. She's supposed to be, I think, 6 or 5.
Yeah, it's a...
And I'd say that yeah, it's definitely acceptable. Rosie looks a little older. Caillou looks a little older. Caillou's holding the knife like he did in one of the episodes, which I won't spoil
Well,
why.
don't point the spotlight to him just yet. I mean, look at those powers that Rosie has, which, by the way, in our series,
sure.
for the first time in the Caillou cinematic universe, Rosie has powers. So that's a
Rosie
big...
does have powers.
That's pretty hype.
Really, with Caillou, The New Adventures, for those of you who are wondering, it's really just like The New Adventures. It's just like we were big fans of the original series, and when we saw the final episodes, it was pretty clear to us like this is the direction that they were planning on taking the series.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, due to Nickelodeon's bullshit, they weren't able to keep. Was Caillou Nickelodeon or was it something else? It may have not been Nickelodeon, but like because of whatever company had Caillou, they just like they wouldn't give it proper funding for them to really tell the story they were born to tell.
Yeah. There were some whispers about some political stuff being added to the show, but we kind of scrapped that idea. We kept the good stuff in.
Yeah, but this is basically, keep in mind that this isn't much of our vision as the creator of Caillou's original vision that he never got to get to.
Yeah.
So this is just us kind of like finishing where they left off.
Mm-hmm.
And they deserve all credit for them. In fact, we will be writing down their names on the back of every single. In the credits of the episodes we do, we are going to have their names instead of ours.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have 3 other characters here. I'll just go for them real quickly because we probably should end this part now. We have Hey Arnold, Markiplier, and Matt. I'm sorry, Zach. I'm running my mouth. Anything you want to say?
There's Hey Arnold, Markiplier, and Mad Emoji. I'm just finishing your sentence there. And then there's Caillou with a knife.
I did say that.
I just want to emphasize the Caillou with a knife. It's very important.
Yeah. Oh, got it. Well, I already mentioned Caillou, but yeah, just like 3 other characters. I don't want to even mention the significance of Hey Arnold, Markiplier, and Matt because they're like, they don't come in the first episode. I think Hey Arnold does, but
also I just want to point out that there may or may not be a missing character, that being Austin, who was in the last episode.
But
who's PMA.
Yeah, but there's a couple characters that aren't there. Megatron isn't there.
Megatron is not there. That's right.
The parents, Caillou's parents, aren't there.
And you know this was a Nickelodeon production because Megatron, and I'm pretty sure Nickelodeon owns Transformers.
Is what Markiplier is holding in his hand, is that supposed to be a sub, or?
I think that's a sub, yeah.
Wasn't there like a plate of meatballs, I think is what they got from the Subway. Technically, Matt is actually a canon character in the series now. But only for a brief second.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna go back to full screen, but this has been educational.
I think it's good to promote what will be coming, because it's a project that everyone should be really excited for because it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
It's gonna be epic.
We're already thinking about Hollywood. We're thinking about Jessica Alba in the role of Rosie.
Yeah.
She hasn't done anything big for a while, so, you know,
we're talking about like a voice actor, right?
No, live action, clearly.
Huh. Okay. Is it going to be an age gap, or is she going to be playing a 5-year-old?
She's going to be playing a 5-year-old, for sure.
Okay, sure.
If Sarah Silverman can voice a little girl, why can't Jessica Alba play a live-action version of a little girl, too?
Yeah, I can't really find an argument there. Let's move on.
Also, someone just walked in the house, so I'm going to have to close my door soon.
That's all I got. Do you want to move to movie discussion?
Sure. Which one do you want to talk about?
Did we put a timer down, by the way?
I put down 6:01.
6:01? Okay, wow, we're doing the movie discussion super early, but there's, like, we can move back to other topics after movie discussion. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit, I didn't think of a recommendation for next episode.
I looked on Netflix right before coming here. I was prepared, man.
I have a few that have been on my list for a while. One of them is going to depend on how you feel about my recommendation this episode. Kind of. No, only kind of. They're not similar movies, but we'll see. I actually do have a few on my list now that I'm actually thinking about it for a second. Let's start with you went first. We did the Black Mirror episode first last time, then the movie. Let's do the movie first this time, and then the Black Mirror episode next. Mm-hmm. All right. So the Prince of Egypt. I'll quickly go over what it is. It's just a movie based on a Bible story. about Moses and freeing the slaves from Egypt. And this is a very, it is a religious movie. And I believe the people who worked on it, are probably religious people themselves. But it has developed a lot of fans that aren't religious at all, as I mentioned in the last episode, because it's kind of just like this big epic tale between, in my opinion, two brothers who grew up, loving each other, very close, very close, and how one of them stayed the same and one of them changed, and just they basically had to go to war with each other, and the drastic measures that had to be taken during that.
Mm-hmm.
Rewatching the movie real quick, I'm just going to say I haven't seen it for a very long time. I've listened to the soundtrack even a week before I told you about it, just because I love the score and I love the songs in it, with the exception of one song that I think is really shit. But I love everything about it, and presentation-wise. Rewatching it for the first time in years, though, I will admit there are a lot of things that do not hold up. But as a whole, I still love it. Zach, what did you think of this movie?
I can appreciate it for what it is, up until all the magic stuff started happening when he walked into the cave and Jesus started speaking to him. Once that point went on, it was very odd. It's not bad, it was just very odd all of a sudden, and then all this magical stuff came in, and it was more metaphorical, I think, even though it's a cartoon, but it was still very weird. The one scene that really stuck out to me was the dream that he has early on in the movie with the walls, the Egyptian walls, and that whole thing going on. That was very unique, and I've never seen anything like that, and I'm surprised I haven't seen anything like that yet in a film or show. Very, very cool scene. Animation through the whole thing was great. As for the score, the music, nothing really stuck with me. The one song that I'd say I liked was when the father-in-law is singing when he's being welcomed. That was the only song I really liked. Everything else was meh. The one song I really hated...
Wait, what song? Which song?
When he joins his people. That transition phase, that one song, and the la 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 something, whatever. The one song the one song I really hated was "You're Playing with the Big Boys Now."
Yeah, that's the one I hate.
You're just repeating the line over and over, and it's not even something.
It's also
it doesn't
Martin
fit.
And Martin Short.
It doesn't fit the genre too, or the time period.
It doesn't.
It's very
really
modern day. You're playing with the big boys now. That's a modern day kind of saying. That doesn't fit that era at all.
Just those two characters in general, I do not think hold up even remotely. I actually hate both of them.
They had no... I mean, they had a little bit of a personality, but nothing really... They're just a generic villain sidekick duo kind of thing. They didn't have anything apart from them. If they were separate, I would have been like, okay, there's nothing I can point out from about each of them that's unique. The fat one, the skinny one, that's about it. They're pretty much the same and generic. Yeah, I've said that already, but yeah. But yeah, it was a fine movie. Just maybe, I don't know, it was a bit maybe not my thing. I don't know, but I did enjoy some parts. The religious part made me feel uncomfortable a bit because it definitely felt more like a Catholic movie. But
it is.
It's not like I was offended or anything. It was just, it didn't feel like I belonged in this type of conversation. That was the thing, maybe.
See,
even though it did have something to do with the reason I celebrate Passover every year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
I think a big part of it is just, the reason I thought about recommending it to you is just because, again, of how much of a fan base outside of Christianity it built. And that's just because of how gorgeous it looks and because of, just the bad blood between these brothers. You see them at the beginning of the movie talking by that statue and they are getting along, and then there's a scene near the very end of the movie. Everything is darker toned. It's really... I love the aesthetic of the movie.
Yeah.
And they speak again, and they have one more pleasant conversation that goes bad again. And right after that, there's the frickin' killing of the firstborn, which is very disturbing.
I still don't understand why I had to get to that extreme. I mean, you could have come up with any other plan, man. I mean, if you're the good guy, why would you do something like that?
I think, yeah, and I understand that. I kind of was when I was watching the scene, I was actually thinking, Zach might not like it. I was actually thinking Zach might not like it.
I understand that this is a story that's put in the Bible, right? Yes, no.
Yeah,
But like it's you know,
it's a very harsh. The
even
thing is,
even
like most,
even
a
like
lot
the
of
idea of putting it in a book like that, like I don't
oh,
know. Why would
it's
you
very
side with
harsh and
that? It's weird.
unbelievable. The way
Religion's weird, dude. I don't know.
it
It's a hard
it
discussion.
is. The way I justify it,
Mhm.
and I could completely understand someone hearing me say this and complete just disagreeing with me entirely. The way that I justify it is that I think that morality is a huge subject in this movie. Like with both how Moses' guilt for how long it took him to see how awful what they were doing was, but also like what they do at the end. Like,
I
I
mean, he
think
did
maybe they should have
cry
done more.
afterwards on a,
Yeah,
I mean, he does feel, yeah.
he's devastated that this just happened. And in the song "The Plague," where the plague is happening, he even has like a line about how he wishes that
Hmm.
he was not the one chosen to do this. Like he's not, you get the like the thing is they can't, because it was a religious movie, they can't like have him questioning God at all because
Yeah.
Christians would hate that. And I think a better version of this movie would have a more skeptical Moses
I just remember
for sure. That's one of the
watching it and
flaws.
feeling, being like, okay, this is based on a true guy who's probably just insane and just seeing and hearing things that he thought was Jesus talking to him, and he just did all these
Yeah.
things. I don't know how all the plague stuff started happening coincidentally at the same time when he's trying to do all this stuff, but what
Like I
happened
said,
happened.
a lot of it didn't hold up as well. I
Yeah.
actually forgot some of the major plot points of the movie.
Hmm.
I don't even know how the hell I forgot about this. I kind of forgot about the first porn scene. And I remembered I remember the shot you're talking about on the wall where they're showing the really disturbing scene of what they did to infants.
Hmm.
That would have been on my childhood trauma video if I would have remembered it. Because it's just a really disturbing scene, and it is a very creative scene as well. But yeah, like it's just like because of what happens in that one scene, I could see a lot of people watching this movie and questioning the morals of our heroes of the film. But because this was a movie that was intended for Christians, they can't paint like Moses as God as a bad guy, or they can't make it questionable. And I think a better version of the movie would bring that, because I think morals are a huge part of this film, and I think they're doing a great job with it up until that scene. And I love that scene just because of the aesthetic of it and how creepy and disturbing it is. And it's such a like upsetting scene after like it's just this creepy light going into different houses and you see kids fall like there's just a shot where one of them stops
Yeah, one of them
breathing.
goes
Like
in the
holy,
house and then their arm just falls. Yeah.
yeah, like holy shit, it's dark. It's
Yeah.
dark. And then you have like you hear like just the cries of the entire town, and it's like I think aesthetically it's a super well done, dark and disturbing scene. It's just like
It
it's
was
almost
done
like
by the
it's
wrong characters in the story, and like the fact that it's like this beloved tale in a very well known book who's
even
big
if
and who's just it's just a big part of a certain
yeah.
community. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's more disturbing when like it's based on a real story and like this
Well,
stuff happened.
the thing with that is a lot of Christians, not probably not all of them, but a lot of them don't like that's an Old Testament story, and a lot of people believe the Old Testament are not literal things that happened, but are
Gotcha.
just like
I wouldn't
metaphorical
know.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was a young kid, I thought it was a true story, and then one day my mom told me. My mom is a lot more religious than I am. I'm not like completely not religious, but she is more religious than I am, and she said that she does not believe that the Old Testament stories are meant to be taken seriously. Like Joan, like you've at least heard of Noah and like the Ark,
Hmm.
get him to every animal. Like she doesn't believe that happened. She believes everything in the New Testament with like Jesus and all of that, but she does not believe like these stories. She just thinks that there's messages to them that you're
Gotcha.
supposed to get. Um, and I guess the message for this one would just be like, celebrating freedom and like you have to treat people like people. It isn't the issue with the firstborn scene. As much as I do like the scene, is I think it sends the wrong message, while everything else in the movie I think does it right, because it's just like it's attacking someone who didn't do anything, which is the firstborn. Like these kids did not do anything, they did not deserve that. And when I was a kid, I didn't see a problem with the scene. When I grew up, now seeing it again, I'm like, Yeah, I still love the movie though. I still love it because again, it's something that I just think that you got to find the right meaning. I think story wise, it's not even a bad scene. It's just because again, it's a movie for Christians. They don't really paint like this as a bad thing that they did,
Yeah,
which it kind of is.
very messed up.
Yeah. So that's the problem.
Hmm.
But I still love everything about it. The music, the score, especially the track "The Burning Bush." I would even recommend just looking that track up and listening to that part of the score again because
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful. The songs, I love all of them except for "You're Playing with the Big Boys Now." My favorite one is probably the opening song. I really love that. I
It
really
was
love the
okay.
crowd singing.
A lot of the songs were just more sentences in this thing, just describing what they're
Yeah.
thinking and doing and whatnot and saying.
I do have a bit of a nostalgia boner too, so there's
Yeah.
that. I still listen to the sound. Like I grew distant from the movie, but I didn't grow distant from the soundtrack because I've always loved the songs.
Mm-hmm.
The Plague used to be my favorite because I just love I just love the choir. I love how I just like I love that scene too. My other major problem with this movie, which I think is a huge setback, is there's a lot of CGI in the movie and it did not hold up fucking well.
I don't remember any CGI.
There's
I
a
thought it was
lot
all
of like
animated,
it's all animated
but
because
like
CGI is
hand drawn. You
animated.
know what I mean?
Yeah, no, if you look at certain scenes again, there are some like very obvious 3D models, which I understand the first time watching the
Wasn't
movie
it
you
from the
might.
'90s though? I mean, at that
Yeah,
time, I don't know.
but you know, the best movies with like animation are timeless, and most of this movie is timeless. Like it looks great,
Mm-hmm.
but there's just a few shots where like, oh my god, the CG, like the 3D models they use look really bad. It's like PlayStation One quality, and it's just like lower resolution than anything else in the shot, and it stands out so much. I mean, keep in mind this is a rewatch. You just watched it for the first time, so you might have been like your mind might be on a lot of different things in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Where for me, this was a revisit to something, and I could pick up on new things. It didn't. I never remembered it like looking so bad in certain scenes, but for the most part, I still think it looks amazing. I'm talking so much. I keep doing this in the episodes, and I'm really sorry about that. Um, I talk a bunch during both recommendations.
It's
I
all
just
good.
want to defend the movie, but also understand.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this movie, I still think this movie is good with what it tries to deliver. It has some pretty big flaws though.
Yeah.
It has some pretty big flaws, and I was very interested in revisiting it, and I hope you got at least something out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I got something. It wasn't a horrible movie by any means, but it definitely wasn't. I'm not a part of this conversation or community for sure. I feel a
Yeah,
bit disattached from this,
got it.
but I still got something out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it definitely appeals to people outside of Christianity. But if you still feel like it's off for you, like that's totally understandable too.
I'm curious if like there's because I can understand like people that aren't Christian or like outside the community, like maybe they are Christian but not as hardcore. But like I'm maybe they weren't Jewish at all. I don't know. Maybe the fact that I'm Jewish, I had this reaction to it. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't know.
so White Bear.
White Bear, yeah.
I
When I
watched it
explain what it is,
earlier before we recorded this, just because it's been a while
yeah,
since I saw it.
yeah,
So it's a Black Mirror episode where this woman wakes up and it's pretty much makes you think it's like the apocalypse. There's these quote unquote zombies of people who record with their phones and take pictures with their phones and just spectate murders happening. There's like these hunters and then there's the victims, and that's what you think this whole thing is. Maybe it's a game show, who knows what it is. And by the end of it, it turns out that she was a very popular murderer who killed a little girl with her fiance, and just she becomes from the main character into like the most hated character in the episode, and it's quite a turn, quite a turn. What did you think of it, Mike?
So what I thought of it is, I have an idea for a Black Mirror episode after watching Shut Up and Dance
Uh huh.
and
White Bear.
White Bear. It's an animated episode, and it's about a cute little lamb who has to go on an adventure to save its sister. But then in the last 5 minutes, it's revealed that the little lamb is a serial rapist slash murderer with over 400 confirmed kills.
Damn.
Because Black Mirror just loves to do episodes where you root for a character only
I
to
think I
find
showed
out
you 2 episodes that are like that. It
they're
doesn't
not all
happen
like
as
that.
often, but maybe it's just the
No,
yeah.
I just had to say that because I just think that's funny. The
It's
similarities.
up there with Shut Up and Dance for me, just because I like those kind of episodes where it's like,
Oh yeah,
whoa, you know.
yeah. So okay, watching this one, I guess I agree with you on this because you said Shut Up and Dance was your favorite. I did like Shut Up and Dance more than this one, but when I was watching this one for a while, it was kind of like an interesting reaction. By the end of it, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it
Mm-hmm.
a lot. But when I started watching it, it took so long for me to get into it because I was just like, yeah, like I felt like I kind of got what the point was. Is the point of this just like it's making fun of people on their phones now, and if like there were no rules, they're claiming this is what
I
society would
wouldn't
be
say
like.
much. I wouldn't say like making fun, but definitely it's a problem that people have
Yeah,
where they don't want to help out and instead they want to just you know
yeah,
record
and
what's
I thought
going
that's
on.
what the whole yeah, basically, and I thought that was
And also I feel like it's also about talking about the topic of cancel culture as well, because like
hmm,
she kind of does deserve all this, but at the same time, there's no topic about rehabilitation or anything, and they just put her through this. Like if you're wiping her memory, she's practically a brand new person, right? You've got to be
I
humane about it. If you can wipe her
yeah,
memory, you can rehabilitate her. She's saying she's sorry. You put her through all this pain, and you're still going at it until the day she
yeah.
dies. Like it gets a bit too far with the morality there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to point that out too, and we can talk about that a bit as well. I was just going to say I wasn't really. I thought that's all the message was going to be though, and I was like, I was getting like it wasn't like it was. I was bored. I never got bored, but I was just like, this one isn't going to do as much for me as the other episodes I've seen, and I would say it didn't. But then we got to get to that one scene, and I'm still skeptical about it. Like the entire time watching it,
What do you
I'm
think it was? Did you think it was a game show? Did you think it was the apocalypse? Did you know
I
she was going to be the
knew
murderer?
I knew there was going to be some twist. I didn't know there was a murder because they didn't reveal that the little girl was killed.
Mm.
I knew there was going to be a twist, and I felt like I probably wasn't going to see it coming because there was, like, to me, no hints. There's one hint that I picked up on after watching the episode, but I'll say what that is when I'm done describing my thoughts on it. I made it to the very end. And I was like, I made it to the very end. I was like, this was fine. And then then the credits, I'm like, yeah, that was fine. I liked that fine. And then they started showing them set it up
Yeah.
during the credits. And like, that scene alone made me like it so much more because now I was just like revisiting
Mm-hmm.
every single scene and how they did this and how they pulled certain things off. And I feel like a rewatch would be
It's
so
like a
enjoyable now.
backstory, really. It's
Yeah.
behind the scene. Yeah, makes it more interesting.
And that made me like it. Like that put it from like a 6, probably all the way up to an 8 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really loved that. And then I started thinking about one problem I actually had with the episode that became a plus, where he's like on the phone holding the gun up to the two girls, and one of them runs off. And while I was watching, I was like, how the hell did he not notice that she was doing that? How the hell did he not notice her footsteps when she sprinted off like
Mm-hmm.
that? And now it makes sense. Like he was just purposely not
Yeah.
hearing it because she was an actress and she had to do her thing.
I was rewatching the episode too, and I remember the scene when she's throwing something at one of the people filming her, and then she wants to look at the phone to see what the guy was taking pictures of, and the girl comes out with a taser, and she's like, "Don't do it." She's like really making sure,
Yeah,
like, don't look at the phone. You know, it's like
yeah.
she's like improvising in that scene, like freaking
And
out.
then she gets shocked when she looks. That's because they literally have shit in her brain
Mm-hmm.
that they're gonna like punish her for if she does anything she's not supposed to do to keep people safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it though. You want to talk about the morality of it a little bit because I do think there's a lot of interesting things to say about that. You may have already said your piece, but
Um,
I'm gonna grab my beer.
I definitely think I mean, this was definitely before like the pro Jared stuff and whatever, but I think it comes at a good time after it, where it's like people are now more aware of cancel culture.
Yeah, well, when you
It's
think
more of a
about
topic nowadays, I'd say, compared to a few years ago when it first came out. In my opinion, the topic of
I
cancel
also
culture.
I also think when you think about cancel culture, Pro Jared is not going to be the go-to.
For me, it is. I feel that's the one that comes to the top, the most recent one at least.
We're kind of like we were always kind of part of that community. You know, we watched Game Grumps, John Tron, Peanut
Mm,
Butter Gamer. You know, I don't think we do so much anymore, but
yeah.
that's a community that's like close to home for us. Like Doug Walker definitely had his share of cancel culture, and
for some reason the Pro Jared one was just the most interesting because it just how that took such a turn. I don't know. It was funny at first, and then it was even funnier. But
I don't know. I don't know if the cancel culture is an interesting connection to make for sure. For me, it's just the question of, is it fair? Like, this is a great punishment for someone. Like, you not only like you're making them feel shittier than you would making them go for this experiment with their memory.
And like
you're making this murderer feel as shitty as they possibly can, and that's the point. But there's the morality question: is like, did you completely wipe out the original person, and now you're attacking an innocent person? Because this is like just not a different person. Like, this is just like, it's weird because I felt a lot worse for her than I felt for our pedophile friend in the last episode. Even though what she did, I would. It's weird because they're both really horrible things.
Here's the thing. Rewatching the episode at the end when she's on the chair and they're showing her all the footage of what's going on. The first time around, I was distracted and I was focusing on her crying and her begging and pleading, and I was kind of tuning out the news stuff. They were saying like, okay, so the fiance killed himself in confinement, and at the trial she was crying and whatnot, saying I'm so sorry, but they took that as her lying and being manipulative and being wicked. So it's like whether she was in her actual life actually apologizing or not, they were still going to do all of this to her, which is just another topic of like, how far do you really go to put this punishment on someone that did a bad crime? Again, rehabilitation means nothing, or should it be done?
Yeah.
Despite the crime.
Here's my response to that. Like, if someone murdered my sister, for example, if like something really horrible happened, and they apologized in court and cried and said they were manipulated into doing it, I would full front say bullshit. I would be okay. Like, fuck this person. I don't forgive them. I don't believe them. Punish them. But I would argue, if you erase their memory and put them through the same thing again and again, I would make the argument. It's a hard argument. I would make the argument you're doing it to a different person. Because if you completely wipe someone's memory, I mean, you could say that the person's there deep down and they deserve it, but I would say that it's almost like you let the original person off free, and now this is a new person.
It makes it even worse when it's technically not even just one new person, because they keep wiping her memory, so it's multiple innocent people that they are hurting, technically.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the really worst part about it too is it's not like she feels okay and then the bad thing happens. She's miserable the whole experience, and it just gets like it reaches a new peak at the end. But there's not a second that she's like happy in the experiment. There's not a second of solace in it. It just gets worse. So she does not have any peace throughout the entire thing.
Did you think I didn't see this one coming. I thought it was going to be like I got little hints like during the before the big reveal. Like I thought she did kill the little girl, but I thought the little girl was her actual daughter. I didn't think it was like someone else's kid. Like that was a surprise to me.
Was there anything before the final scene that revealed the girl died?
There was a one little flashback that she had in her mind of the fiance circling around a pit fire, which looked a lot like they threw a body in there. So that made me think, okay, they definitely killed someone. The little flashback when she's holding up the phone and giving that little wicked smile, like she did something bad. But I didn't think. I guess I missed that. Whether or not it was going to be like her own kid or someone else's kid, it was still going to be just as bad. But, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was really good. Black Mirror normally point. Like I'm sure there's an episode or two that exists that I wouldn't be so crazy for. This one was going in that direction, but it definitely pulled itself up and it became something very interesting by the end of it. I do think the post credits were kind of in the credits scene really helped it. Like, it really brought things like together, and it made it like brought things into perspective more. I do question with them like crossing days off the calendar if this is a life sentence or she does get to stop being put through it eventually.
Yeah.
But I would imagine if she does get to stop being put through it eventually, they don't wipe her memory after the last time they do the reveal.
Also, one inconsistency I'd say, if this is her entire day from morning to night, I saw the beginning scene. She gets water from the sink and drinks that. Alright, she gets hydrated once every day, but she never eats, and she's still able to run around and do all this. Where's her energy coming from? And this is like weeks in a row, possibly for a whole month. This is happening. Where's the energy coming from?
You could argue that when they need to, like, there's a tube and they feed her like during the night sometimes. That's the only argument you could like really make there, because you're right.
I feel like the nights would be very short though. By the time they wipe her memory to the time she wakes up, like maybe 6-7 hours. Is that even enough time?
I don't know. I mean, you have to keep in mind the
set that all
actors
up and get out.
The actors and actresses have to, they have to get some sleep and eat. So
yeah, I don't know.
There's definitely a time gap. Some of them only have to be in it for a short period of time. Others are there for the whole day.
And I really don't believe that this universe would be so kind as to even give her a feeding tube if they're willing to do all of this. Like,
well, they want to keep her alive.
I don't know. I feel like they want to just keep her going until she passes out and dies. Like, they'd be fine with that as long as they got some days out of it.
I don't think that's true. I think they consider what they're doing a lot more cruel. She's begging for them to kill her at the end of each day, and then he says, "Well, you know what? That's what you say every day."
True.
Like, so I think that they're definitely keep doing their best to keep people alive. Serial rapists / murderers like the lamb I was talking about, they get fed in prison. Like the little lamb from Black Mirror coming soon.
Thing you gotta remember with Black Mirrors though is that there's always some sort of technological advancement in every episode.
I love that.
So what's your little lamb thing? What's the technological thing there? What's the new thing?
Give me a second. Okay, well, it can go with the plot twist. The little lamb is actually a human being. No, I don't like that. Okay, the little lamb has like a cyborg friend. We'll just say that.
Okay.
It's kind of a lazy Black Mirror.
It always has to tie into some metaphorical topic too.
They don't all have to be winners.
Yeah.
In this made up scenario in my head, the people who make that show for some reason trust me with a bunch of money to produce an episode, and then I hand them back this, and they're like, "Well, our deadline's tomorrow." Fuck. And then they submit that.
Oh, the little lamb. Yeah. So what you want to do now?
Oh, well, I guess we're good there. I guess recommend me your next movie, and then we can end this on random question generator or anything else. I'm going to go dark for a little bit because I need to pull my phone out.
So there's a movie I told you about, which I surprised myself with liking as much as I did, and I've watched it a few times already. It's actually a really funny movie. It's called The Other Guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Have you seen it?
Okay. Mm-mm.
Good.
No, I know you were talking about it. Not
every joke lands, but most jokes, in my opinion, do. And there's just, it's just it goes from like odd to random to like well thought out jokes, just everything of all kinds in this one. Cool. And I don't know, it's just there's some scenes that are clearly improvised now, and it's just a great flick. It's really funny.
Oh, yep, cool. I'll check it out, and we'll talk about it next episode. Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can find something for you. I have like stuff on my list, but
okay. Cool. Hold on, real quick.
Okay.
Just has to shout, doesn't he? Okay.
I'm sorry I did not come prepared.
You know,
I have some.
Mike, I just want to warn you. I've been hearing some sounds outside my window.
Ah, fuck. What? Like what?
I also got some emails the last week from
What? Okay.
from the
What's going
Fs.
on?
I think I know who the Fs are, Mike. I think
The
they're coming
Fs.
for me. They said that
Okay.
they're sending one of theirs out.
Like, this is not a good time for them to be coming.
It's not a good time for them to be coming.
You know, they should be staying at home.
I hope it could just be my neighbors, but
Yeah.
their
Hopefully
last
it's just your
name doesn't
neighbors. Let me
start
look
with
for a
F.
movie.
Maybe it's the Folkmans. Maybe there's other
Maybe it
Folkmans
is.
out there. That's
Maybe
a
there's
good
other
thing.
Folkmans. We're your long lost Folkman brothers. Maybe there's a
Yeah.
Michael Folkman, Chris Folkman, Tito Folkman.
Yeah,
That'd be nice. Wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
My recommendation is The Cat in the Hat.
I've seen that.
We're not. I'm also not going to recommend it.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? We talked
The
about
Mike Myers Cat in the Hat. That's what you're gonna recommend to me?
I was joking. You know what? We talked about this one before. We kept holding it off. I guess we're not going to take a break from Black Mirror because my recommendation will be Black Mirror Bandersnatch, a interactive Netflix movie. And it'll be interesting because there's a lot of different paths you can take in that one, and maybe you'll get all of them.
I'm gonna talk about my own experience then. And yours.
Yeah. Well, it's also good to like because it's very whenever like you get an ending, it's very easy to keep going. Just take a step back and try something else. And you should, because the more you play it, the more crazy the endings get. Like, because it's possible to get an ending within 10 minutes. You know, just keep going with it.
You should point your light on you.
I have to pull up a random question generator at one point, Zach.
Yeah.
If you want to put my light on me for now, I will.
Yeah.
Okay, so next topic. Why can't I stop crying?
What are you doing in here? He's got a gun. Mikey's got a gun. He's got a gun.
Are you being spotted?
It is I, Kermit the Froglium Fancy Son here.
Oh, hey, faggot. How are you doing?
Who you calling faggot?
Well, you know, like, so are you one of the 11 Fancy Sons?
I am one of the 11 Fancy Sons here.
Should I, like, meet normal Kermit first? Because I never met normal Kermit.
He's dead.
Shit.
I killed him.
Why'd you do that, Kermit Liam?
Kermit the Froglium Fancy Son.
Frog. I'll just call you Frog Liam.
Fuck you.
I'll just call you Tadpole.
Call me Kermit the Froglium Fancy Son, you piece of shit.
I'll call you the Green Boy.
What was the question again? Oh, right. There can only be one of us.
Yeah, is that the intent? Okay, so is that what the Fancy Sons goal is? Because we never actually got... We have no idea what the fuck they're trying to do. Is it just there can only be one of us? Is that it?
If there are multiple of us, consider the fact that, like, you know, one of us gets arrested, and then one of us goes outside and it's like, hey, you broke out of prison. You look just like the guy who broke out of prison, and then one of us is fucked. If you want you guys... Yeah.
Yo, Green Boy. Yo, Frog Liam. Isn't there like kind of a problem with you? Have you ever seen Muppets Most Wanted?
The fuck is a Muppet?
Well, you're like Kermit's from the movies, the movie Muppets, but there's like and the show, but there's movies, and in Muppets Most Wanted, there's two Kermits, so technically there's still another Kermit out there that you would have to kill. There's like a Russian one.
Where are my arms?
I did notice that your arms were not there. I didn't.
My arms are just non-existent. That's a problem. How would I hold up a gun? I don't know.
Well, you're one of the few successful Fancy Sins, because I think only...
I wouldn't say successful. I've had a pretty hard life, my friend.
Yeah, but you're the only one that managed to kill... No, wait, no, that's not true. Tedalium did too, so never mind.
I am on the verge of bankruptcy.
You and Tedalium are the only two that managed to kill your alter ego. Like, Mike Liam hasn't even showed up yet. Zach Liam hasn't really done anything. Gage Liam got murdered by us. Chris Liam got murdered by us. You seem to be one of the only 2 success stories.
Yeah, well, they're all faggots, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that just the plan of all the fancy since now? I have not been up to date with them in a while. Are they just planning on killing all of the regulars?
You asked way too many questions, Mr. Mike Ive. I'm only here to send a message.
Okay, but you're gonna kill. That's the plan. I didn't know what the plan was. I just want to make sure I have that down. You're gonna kill all the non-fancy versions of yourself.
I'm not saying shit, but I have a message to send to you.
Okay, we'll send your message.
Shit, wait, hold on.
Barry's been here the whole time.
Where did I put it? Fuck.
You know, this might not actually be Barry, the more I think about it. I don't know. You know, Willie did revive him, but maybe it wasn't ever Barry to begin with. Barry always stayed on my shoulder. Barry always stayed on my head. But this guy doesn't, and I don't get
I have
why.
found my message to send to you from the Fancy Sons.
Go ahead.
The message is... He sells seashells by the seashore.
Is that metaphorical?
I am only the messenger.
Okay, but you're another part of your message is back kill beloved character who I thought was fictional, so it's weird. Kermit the Frog.
I have to go now, but it was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you too, man.
Until another day. What the fuck? Don't say that shit. That's offensive.
Okay.
You don't stay safe, motherfucker.
Alright.
Hoppity hoppity, women are... Oh, thank God he's gone. That was a weird line to leave with, I gotta say.
Was he about to say woman or property?
I hope not. I don't know.
It sounded like that's what he was about to say.
Okay. Like, dude's a yikes. I don't know. Also, I don't know why he's going through puberty still. That's a weird dude.
I don't know. He might be young.
Also, off topic. I gotta take a drink of water.
Okay.
Totally off topic.
Well, I think that the Fancy Sins are trying to eliminate us.
Yeah. What was that message about? I didn't really understand it.
I don't really know either.
It sounded like he just looked it up on the spot and just said what he found.
He may be mentally challenged and didn't actually have a message.
Yeah, most teenagers are. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the goal, though. I mean, honestly, Tito got killed. Gage Liam tried to kill Gage, but failed. Chris Liam was incompetent. Zach Liam was incompetent. Mike Liam hasn't.
It's a shame we never got to meet Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, Kermit is dead, but again, you know what I'm talking about? The Russian Kermit the Frog.
There's a Russian Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, Muppets Most Wanted. There's 2 Kermits in that movie. That's the whole
Is
thing.
Is he after us too? Are the Russians after us too? Is the Fancy Sons and the Russians just gonna go in the middle of our podcast and all-out war?
Maybe. I mean, this...
Or are we in the middle of it, not them?
This
that
Kermit,
would make more sense.
This Fancy Sin Kermit could be the same one as the Russian Kermit. Does he have a mole?
Maybe he will next time.
Maybe.
Maybe it's on the back of his neck. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, the mole's supposed to be on his face.
And he had it the whole time. I don't know why he didn't see it. He clearly had the anyway.
Okay.
Also, I don't know how he held up a gun to me with no arms. That still bugs me. It's a head scratcher.
It's interesting for sure. All right, but yeah, so the Fancy Sins are trying to eliminate the Norm V-Sons.
That's not what we should call ourselves. That's I don't want.
I don't want to be a fucking normie.
Fucking normies.
Random
question generator.
That's an interesting development in the plot, though, for sure. How fucked up would it be if when you did that voice, I was like, no, you're not. You're Zach doing a voice.
What voice?
Like, just refuse to play along. After you've played along with so much of my bullshit.
You know, thinking of doing the character, the voice was in my head. The voice scratching was not part of it. That was kind of on the spot.
You were fine. You were fine. It wasn't bad at all. That was good.
It was a very Morty mixed with Kermit the Frog. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh boy, house is coming down in flames.
Do you think the future will be better than the
Oh,
present?
well, not this
Why?
smoke alarm. It's hinting at some sort of
Do you think the
thing. Oh,
future will be better than the present? That's a weird question to get right now out of all times.
yeah,
Um,
let's not. Well, yeah, we'll just hint. Oh my god.
so, for people listening in the future, this episode's being recorded during a certain event that we chose that we didn't want to talk about on the show, but it's very serious. So, I'm going to do a new question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite vacation memory from when you were a child? That's a better question. I like that one. From when I was a child too. I don't think I like. What are we defining as child? Because is it under 18 or
I remember the first time I
young
went on
child?
vacation was like when I was a teenager, so and that was like beach vacations, and those weren't that fun for me. But
I
I
love
remember
beach vacations, but they're what
it's
you
like
make
if
them.
I live in Florida, I'm like half an hour away from the beach anyway. It's
Yeah.
nothing new. You're just staying at a hotel half an hour away from where you live.
Was it also just like you, your sister, and your parents?
Yeah.
If it was just me and my sisters and parents, it probably wouldn't be as fun for me. But we go with like cousins, and we always had a pretty good time. But it was a crowd.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like Disney or New York vacations as well. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a good one. I loved the beach when I was a kid. I'm trying to think of like a specific memory because that's hard to do.
I don't know. I just
Damn.
remember. I remember that feeling of walking into the Nintendo store in New York City for the first time after seeing it
Yeah.
online. That was a pretty cool experience. And it always
Nice.
changes
Yeah.
every time you go. It's cool.
That's a good one.
Doesn't matter
Um,
how old you are. First time you walk in there, it's just magical.
um, I feel pretty fortunate now that I'm thinking about that because I think I have a lot of good ones. I'm trying to think of a good one to point out, especially from when I was like super young. Because I've been the beach trip is a yearly thing. Say something while I think.
Yeah, I'm
Entertaining.
opening up Animal Crossing right now just in case for any
Oh, yeah, do
material.
that. Let's. Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about that. I forgot. I guess we had enough show content today.
Yeah.
You ever see the Animal Crossing anime? It's real.
No.
No, I'm not fucking with you. It's a movie. It's real.
I'm just thinking of like those stereotypical anime openings with like the really epic
We
tunes.
should Mackle and Zatch the Animal Crossing movie.
Anime, you mean?
Yeah, it's a movie though.
How long is it?
Probably like an hour.
I want to watch it.
Yeah, we should Mackle and Zatch. I watched it when I was really young. Okay, I've got one. This is kind of a wholesome one. It might not be the best, but it's one of the best. It's a really good one.
Wait, did you ever write down your recommendation?
Bandersnatch.
Yes, I wrote
My
that down. Hold on.
recommendation.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
I know what my recommendation is. You talked about it. I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, I wrote it down.
The what I'm going to talk about. My grandpa. Me and him went to Carowinds, this is when I stayed in North Carolina for a while. You might even remember this because me and you were friends when I started doing this. For like 3 years in a row, I went to stay with my grandparents for like a whole month. Just kind of a way to get myself out of the house, because I was a computer nerd and I did a lot of video editing, doing a lot of the YouTube stuff with you guys, and still did when I was with them. But this just gave me more of an excuse to go out. So that was basically the idea behind it. Plus, my grandparents, they always liked the company. But me and my grandpa would go on a few trips. And one that always stood out to me, a lot of them stand out, but one that always stood out to me just because I couldn't believe the fucking spirit in the sky, is we went to Carowinds, which is this really big theme park that is on the border between South Carolina and North Carolina. So half of the park is in North Carolina and the other half is in South Carolina. And this freaking old guy, my grandpa, like almost in his 80s, not quite there yet, but almost there, was going on these just like crazy roller coasters with me up to a point where I was worried if he should be doing it or not. But he just like had it in him. He would do the upside down ones. He would do like these huge drop ones. And like, I was pretty young too, so it wasn't like I was like especially trying to talk him out of it. But he was just down for every single one of them. And I couldn't believe the energy in that guy. And then after that, he drove me through the places that he used to work with. And Yeah, my grandpa lived an interesting life. It did not suck. A lot of people tell grandpa stories as a bad thing. It did not suck driving around and him describing places that he used to be at. He was good at telling a story.
Mm.
So there's a wholesome one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Let me see some Animal Crossing shit before we end this episode.
So I'm talking to Rocket, and they like want to get my attention. She's a girl, by the way. She just taught me a reaction, an apologetic reaction.
Yeah.
Let me do it. I just recently learned how to do reactions, so I gotta click CR. God. Which one's the apologetic one? Okay. Let's see what it looks like together. Which one's A? Okay. Oh, okay. Wait, I'm not even facing... Wait, that's the... Okay. Oh, it's like a Japanese... I'm so sorry. I get it. Recently got my town hall. It was a tent for a while. Now it's a town hall. Oh, I changed my flag today. I like the flag. This is... By the way, the town's called Schmiegelbop. Without the third E after the L, it didn't fit. But here's my town flag. Yeah.
Oh man.
It was either going to be that or
Oh, bless Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hopefully you can see it. But it was either going to be Danny DeVito or that.
I would have gone with the SpongeBob one, but I think Danny DeVito is a good one.
It was my first choice, but then I saw the Danny DeVito one. I'm like, Schmiegelbop. That's Schmiegelbop right there.
Yeah. Danny DeVito's a good face right now.
It is.
Yeah.
Let me think here.
For reasons that go deeper.
So I moved in with Rocket and a crocodile named Sly who loves working out. He's at home? Yes, he's at home. Let me show Sly.
So many sirens going off today, jeez.
Oh no. So that's Sly. He's a good lad.
Nice. You only have 2 villagers so far, right?
No, I have 5. 3 new ones came. Nice. I got Twiggy, who's a bird who loves to be the center of attention. There's Rodeo, who's a bull. I don't know if they're gender, but they have red eyes, and it's very creepy. And then there's Apollo, who's a penguin. And they're chubby, and they're great.
I thought...
Wait, sorry. Is it Apollo, or is it...
What's the name Apollo again? Was an eagle.
Hold on.
Apollo was in the movie.
Aurora, sorry. Aurora. Okay. This is Aurora. She's amazing.
She's a nerdy little penguin.
This is the first time I've seen her wearing glasses, actually. She also calls me Bubba Baby every time.
Apollo was one of the characters who was popular enough to be in the movie.
Backwards, but it says Bubba Baby. Oh, and Twiggy says bird-related puns at the end of every single sentence, which is amazing.
Sadly, I don't think any of your villagers are in the movie.
Damn.
This is a very select amount of villagers in there.
What the heck? Is that... It's Celeste.
That's Owl from the other games.
I'm meeting her for the first time right now.
She's
Toots, and a very good evening to you. Are you resident of this island? You must be famous Ziff. I'm Celeste. He's a museum curator.
Famous Ziff.
You know if you had... What is she going to tell me? It's quite endearing assuming. I came here to examine the night. Okay, it's so much better than I had dared hope. Okay. Wonder if we... Shooting star. Have you ever heard what... So, she's talking about shooting stars. I don't know. Do you remember what the mechanic was for that? I don't even remember. If you look at R, see shooting star, then press A. Oh.
Wait, kind of. Cool. I remember like the constellations with her.
Oh, I nearly forgot. I recently ran across a DIY recipe in one of my books on the stars. There's a magic wand that if you make a wish and give it a wave, lets you become a whole new you. What does that even mean? That sounds spoopy. But she's giving me something. That's cool. Anyway, we should end this episode on something.
Yeah, I feel like there's something I'm forgetting, but maybe I can mention it next episode. But I feel like there was something I forgot to talk about. Sad face. Got another DuckCast over.
I'll end it on Danny DeVito. Still going. Whoa. You're really good at that.
It's like Whiplash now slowing down.
Oh. Yeah. It's really calm now. Really quiet. Too quiet. Oh. 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 Yeah? Uh-huh. I don't think it's gonna rev back up. I think this is the most... Wait. Oh! Yes! Yes!
All
DeVito.